What's good, everybody? This is Brian again, Take Two Podcast, for another Take Two quick review here on our YouTube page. Thank you very much for checking us out over here. We know you already love our podcast. If you don't, go subscribe, download all of those. We're available on all of your podcasting platforms, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, you name it, we're there. You can find us quite easily. Take Two Podcast is not that hard to find, but also, since you're here on YouTube, just jump on down there and subscribe. We could use as many followers as possible. Tell your friends and loved ones while you're at it. These just are Take Two quick reviews, just a little quick hitter stuff. You can get our full reviews over on the podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about Perry Mason. Full review from myself and Tony of Perry Mason is on episode 200 of our podcast. Download that today. You can also listen to it through our YouTube channel. You get all of our episodes on here as well. So many ways that you can find us. It is not that hard. All you got to do, click and listen. So Perry Mason, it is on HBO. It has 8 episodes. It just wrapped up last weekend. Absolutely amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I mean, you have a loaded cast. It was absolutely insane. Matthew Rhys, Chris Chalk, John Lithgow, Shea Wiggum, Stephen Root, and the Steeler. The big time name that you did not think was going to come in and steal the show, Julia Rylance. Woo! We talk about this more on the show, and that's where you need to listen to a full, more in-depth review, but I'm just going to give you a quick overview right now. Let me go back to Stephen Root real quick. Is he, like, sneaky one of the greats of Hollywood? Because he's in so much, and you don't realize he's in as much as he's in. And he's always great. He's always great. And I know people go back to My Stapler and things like, stuff like that. And he's just absolutely fantastic. But you put him in True Blood and you put him in this and you put him in, Barry. Anyway, Stephen Root, I think we should be giving a little bit more praise for the type of work that he does. He's a fantastic character actor and I absolutely love him. But Matthew Rhys leads the way in this one, and he is really good. Really good. I don't think we could have cast this one a little bit more perfectly. The character arc that he gives Perry Mason in this one is fantastic. He goes from absolutely rock bottom, private eye, needs to do all kinds of dirty work just to make a buck, is getting a little dirty on his friends. He's trying to screw over studio heads of movie studios and whatever, just so he can get some cash. He's a horrible father. He's a horrible ex-husband. All of these things. But there's good in there. And you can see it. And he knows right from wrong. And he's got a messed up past. And it still messes with his head. And he tries to fix that with the bottle. We've been there, right? You all have. His character, though, progresses as he watches the evil that happens all around him. And he sees, wait a second. You can see that inside of Perry Mason. And he's like, that's not right. And it then brings out in him a more developed character where he's now the good guy. He eventually gets around to getting, behind the desk or whatever. What do lawyers say? Behind the bench? Not behind the bench. That would be the judge. Not behind the desk. That would be a secretary. In front of a jury. He gets in front of a jury because he's a lawyer. That's what that should be. That's what their phrase should be. Lawyers are probably yelling at me right now. Anyway, he finally gets there. We get the Perry Mason that we know and love eventually towards the end of the series. I know there's some people that were against that. They're like, wait a second. We don't see the Perry Mason from the TV show. I think we will in season 2. Regardless. He does a really great job. Another great character is Chris Chalk's. He's eventually going to be his assistant or his partner or whatever in season 2 and whatever. A lot of season 1 really set up for what the TV show brought us going forward into season 2. Chris Chalk does a really great job. He plays the cop and he's dealing with dirty cops. And is he a dirty cop? Does he want to be? Again, he's dealing with so much bad. There's that line. Do I then easily join this side? I can make some cash. I can provide for my family. Or do I do the right thing? And it could get me killed, let alone not be able to provide. Same type of deal. All right, I'm rambling here. Perry Mason is fantastic. It's all about this baby that gets kidnapped and then murdered, and they're trying to find out who did it. And was it the mother that did it? Was it the father that did it? Was somebody framed? Was there more to it? That's what this entire series is about. Perry Mason is, the detective on this, or the private eye that's in on this. He's trying to figure it out. You've got actual cop detectives that are in on this. They're finding things out. Things aren't always on the up and up. Then you've got the one aspect of the entire series that I didn't love was the God Squad folks that are there. The church that's involved. They're going to fund this thing, but then the church is also involved with the kidnapping maybe, and there's people involved there. Money's put aside here. Why? Who? Did they know him? A lot of tricky stuff. But it's all in a good way. It keeps you involved. Series ended on kind of all right, that's the finale. Neato. I felt that they definitely wanted to get us to season 2. They definitely set up like the final ep to be like, all right, wrapping story. get ready, folks, because now we've laid the groundwork. Stones are down. Here we go. And we're going to move forward. So, looking very much forward to season 2. That's a definite. That's going to go when we're allowed to film things again. They're going to start production on that. Looking forward to that big time. If you haven't checked out Perry Mason yet on HBO, it's only 8 eps. They are about an hour 10ish each. Tony on Ep 200 brought up a great point of it is better to binge this show. So if you haven't started yet, it's good now for you, because you can now go boop, 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 and just knock them all out. There were times it did what it was supposed to do. When you finished that up, you were like, oh, okay, I'm ready for the next one. But you couldn't. You had to wait a whole week. Darn it. Remember those days? All the olden days when you had to wait a week to watch a show. Perry Mason, HBO, 8 episodes. Check it out right now. Check out Take Two Podcast. Our actual listener podcast is available on all podcasting platforms. Thank you for checking out our new YouTube show with the Take Two quick reviews. Subscribe down below. Don't forget about all the socials, 434-602-1931. That's the phone number. You can give us a text or leave a voicemail on the hotline at Take Two Podcast for all of your Twitter needs. And then, of course, you want to shoot us an email, take2podcast@gmail.com. My name is Brian. This has been Perry Mason and a Take Two quick review.